In this video, we're going to go over how to quickly relieve hip and back arthritis pain. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Dr. Rowe coming to you from SpineCare in St. Joseph, Michigan. In this video, we're going to go over exercises that can quickly relieve arthritic pains, tightness, and stiffness throughout the hips and the lower back. And to make it really easy, I broke the video up into 3 separate parts that include what to do first thing in the morning for quick relief, stretches that you can use throughout the day to keep everything nice and loose, and strengthening exercises that can offer long-lasting relief. Each part works just a little bit differently. To get the best results, go through all the exercises and use what works best for you. With that being said, let's get started. So when it comes to hip and back arthritis pain, usually first thing in the morning is the worst time of the day because everything just rusts up overnight, gets locked up. So here's a really easy warm-up exercise that you can do first thing in the morning in bed to loosen everything up and just have less pain and stiffness throughout the day. Let's start lying flat on our back and have our legs roughly hip width apart, knees bent, feet flat. The first move that I'm going to do is called a pelvic rocker, and this one is really going to break through that rust in your hips and lower back. Take your hands, put them right on your hips. Now take your tailbone right here and just scoop it upward like this towards your belly button. As you do this, you're going to feel your hips rock backwards. So just build into this one as much as you can until you feel a really good activation of the muscles around your buttocks, the glutes, into the pelvic floor, into your lower back. Once you feel that, hold this for a second or two and then slowly go in reverse. So imagine your tailbone right here, just press it straight downward into the bed. This time around, you're going to feel that your hips rock forward, the muscles get hit just a little bit differently. Again, hold that for about a second or two, and then just keep rocking forward and backward about 10 to 15 times. And with each repetition, try to build into it just a little bit more. Again, it's kind of like chipping away at that rust, breaking free. Afterwards, see how you feel. If it feels like everything's nice and loose, you can move on to the second part of this exercise. If it feels like it needs a couple more repetitions, just keep throwing it in until everything is nice and loose. So the next part of this exercise, we're going to do what is called the butterfly. This one is a really good hip opener. We're going to take our feet, put them together just like this, and then just gently press our heels downward into the bed until we feel a light activation of the muscles around the hips. This would include the glutes. From here, we're going to hold this. Now take our knees and just wing them downward towards the floor as much as we can until we feel a deep but comfortable stretch on the inner part of our thighs that works towards the groin into the hips. Once we feel that, let's hold this position for a second or two and then just slowly close our legs, bringing our knees together. Now, just like a butterfly flapping its wings, we're just going to go down and up over and over again for about 10 to 15 repetitions. And with each repetition, just try to build into it a little bit more. Again, if it feels pretty loose, we can move on to the final part of this exercise. But if it needs a couple more repetitions, just keep building into it over and over again. So the last move is my personal favorite because this one is going to be a deep stretch in the hips that works into the lower back. So what I'm going to do is just take one leg, straighten it like this and let it rest on the bed. The other leg, I'm going to keep bent, my knee bent, and place my foot over the other side's knee. I'm going to take the hand on the other side and just grab right on the outside of my knee. And what I want to do is just slowly pull my knee across my body like this until I feel a light stretch form on the outside of my hip. This will target the gluteus medius, which is probably the biggest instigator of both lower back and hip pain. So just start to feel a light stretch on the outside of your hip. You want to hold this for about 20 seconds, release it, and then repeat. But on the next repetition, we're going to take this one to the next level by pulling it down even further to the point where you not only feel a really good stretch on the outside of your hip, but it's going to slowly work into your lower back. Once you feel it in the hip and the back, now we're going to hold this one for 20 seconds, release it, and then repeat this a couple more times. And then afterwards, you're just going to want to switch legs and repeat to help keep everything in balance. In this part, we're going to go over a couple stretching exercises that you can use throughout the day anytime that you need quick hip and lower back arthritis pain and tightness relief. This first one we can do seated. So whatever side that you're having the most amount of pain or discomfort, let's say it's your right side, take that side's ankle and place over your other side's knee. So when you look down, it should look like a figure 4. I know a lot of people with arthritis are going to struggle to get into this position. To make it a little bit easier, just straighten your other leg out like this, place your ankle over your other side shin. That way you can grab your pant leg or your leg and slide it up into position. The first move, I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to cup around my bent knee. Now let's pull this bent knee across our body towards our other side shoulder. Do this one slowly because you're going to feel a deep stretch form on the outside of your hip that works into your lower back. Once you feel it in the lower back, you're going to hold this for 20 to 30 seconds, release it, and then repeat it a couple more times. And with each repetition, just try to build into it a little bit more. So let's take this one to the next level and now turn it into an active stretch. What I'm going to do with this bent knee is now press it downward towards the floor, but I'm not going to use my hands. Instead, I'm going to use my leg and hip strength. The more that you press that knee towards the floor, the more that you're going to feel a deep activation across the hip into the glutes that works into the lower back. Once you feel that, hold this comfortably for 5 seconds, release it, and then repeat this 5 times. Afterwards, see how you feel. If it feels pretty loose, you're good to go. But if it needs a couple more repetitions, just keep throwing repetitions in until everything is nice and loose or you're not getting any more improvement. But if you do just have a lot of tightness that won't release, especially in the lower back, you can also throw in a couple more moves to target the lower back a little bit more. So the first move is just pressing our knee down like this, having very good upright posture. Just keep your back nice and straight, and you're just going to lower your chest downward towards the floor. The more that you lean forward, the more intense this stretch will get, so build into it slowly. You can hold that for about 5 seconds. The next move that you can try is a twisting or rotational movement. So let's press our knee down. I'm going to have very good upright posture, and I'm just going to slowly turn through my waist, through my lower back towards the other side. At this point, you should really start to feel it in the lower back. Again, 5-second hold. The last movement, and this one is my personal favorite, is a leaning motion like this. So let's press our knee down towards the floor, have very good upright posture, and I'm just going to lean towards the other side. At this point, you should feel a deep stretch from the bottom of the ribs working into the lower back towards the top of the hip. Once you feel that, 5-second hold, release it. But go through all of those moves. You're probably going to find that one just helps you out a little bit more. And at that point, throw more repetitions in until everything is nice and loose. Just remember, whatever you do on one side, always switch to the other side and repeat to help keep everything in balance. This next stretching exercise is called the wall lean, and just like the name implies, all we need is a wall. Let's break this one down. We're going to start with our feet together with one hip facing that wall. Doesn't matter which side because we're going to do this on both. You just want it roughly about a foot, foot and a half away from that wall. From here, we're going to bend the elbow that is closest to the wall, roughly at 90 degrees, and then we're going to lean our upper body weight into that wall. It's really important during this exercise to keep your shoulder all the way down towards your elbow, flush against that wall. Treat it like a suction cup. Don't let it lift off like this. Instead, all movement is going to come through the hips and lower back. We're going to take the hand on the other side, place it right over our hip. Now slowly press your hips towards that wall. As you do this, you're going to feel a great stretch form in your hips that works into your lower back. Once you feel that, hold this for 20 to 30 seconds, release it, and then repeat it 3 to 5 times. And with each repetition, try to build into it just a little bit more. If you would like a deeper stretch, all you have to do is space your feet further away from the wall and then repeat. The further the feet are out, the deeper this stretch will be. Just remember though, whatever you do on one side, always switch to the other side and repeat to help keep everything in balance. In this part, we're going to focus on strengthening exercises. Without a doubt, the best bet to get long-lasting relief, but also to help slow the progression of arthritis, is by strengthening the muscles that help support the hips and the lower back. These exercises are light enough that you could do them daily, but if you do find them too challenging, just try to do them 2 to 3 times a week. The first exercise, we're going to lie flat on our back in bed or on a floor. Just have your legs roughly hip width apart, knees bent, feet flat. Let's start off by squeezing our glutes, our butt cheeks, and just gently pressing our heels downward into the bed. We're going to hold that and now take our hands, place them right on our hips. What you're going to do is slowly raise your hips upward towards the ceiling until your body is in a nice straight line from your knees to your hips to your shoulders. If you're unable to get into this position, like you can only go up an inch or two, do the best you can. Hopefully over time you will gain strength and flexibility to get into this position, but you're going to feel a ton of muscles start to fire. The core, the back, your butt, your legs, everything that supports this area. Let's hold this comfortably for about 3 to 5 seconds, release it, take a breather, and then repeat this 10 to 15 times. And with each repetition, try to build into it just a little bit more. If it does feel like you have a little bit more energy, challenge yourself by throwing in another set or 2. But if you would like to take this one to the next level and target the hips just a little bit more, especially the glutes, this is what we can do. Let's take our feet, put them together, and now press our heels downward into the bed and then squeeze our butt cheeks, our glutes as much as we can. Let's wing our knees outward as much as we can until we feel a light stretch forming in the groin and around the hips. Hold this and then lift our hips upward towards the ceiling. You're just going to notice it hits the muscles a little bit more, and it's definitely a lot more challenging than that first move. Again, try to hold this one for about 3 to 5 seconds, release it, and then repeat this 10 times. But go through both of those moves. If you find one helps you out a little bit more, try to keep throwing repetitions in until it feels like you got a really good workout. So one of the absolute best and safest ways to strengthen both your hips and your back is by doing an exercise called the wall sit. This one is going to make everyday activities like getting out of a chair, going up and down stairs, and just general walking a lot easier and less painful to do. So for this one, we're going to go next to a smooth wall or a door and just place our whole backside flush against it for support. From here, I like to just have my legs out in front of me and my feet just a little bit wider than my hips. I point my toes out slightly to take tension off the knees, and I'm going to place all of my body weight more towards the middle part of my foot onto my heels. Keeps yourself in balance a little bit better during this exercise. From here, I like to lightly brace my core muscles. It's kind of like when somebody pokes you in your stomach, how you tense up and suck your belly button towards your spine. Just mimic that and hold it during the exercise to help protect the back. From here, we really want to activate the glutes during this exercise. So we're just going to squeeze our cheeks as much as we can and hold that. So after we've done all of that, it's pretty straightforward. We're just going to slide down and take our butt closer towards the floor. So the more that you go down, the more that you're going to feel a deep activation in your legs, around the hips, and pretty much across the pelvis. We're just going to hold this one for about 3 to 5 seconds and then come back up. Take a breather. On the next repetition, challenge yourself by sitting down a little bit further. And just keep repeating this over and over again for about 10 to 15 repetitions. Afterwards, see how you feel. If it feels like you have a little bit more energy, challenge yourself by throwing in another set or 2. If the exercises help, please support the channel by giving this video a like and maybe subscribing too. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching.